Claude Cowork now has projects, and I think people are underestimating what this means. But you have to know how to set it up correctly to get the most out of it. That's what you're going to learn in this tutorial. And later, I'm going to share some extra tips to get the most out of Claude Cowork and projects. But first, you need to understand what projects are. So projects are a way to organize context when you're working with Claude Cowork. Context is so important when you're working with any AI tool because it allows the AI to understand more about your business or your life. And if you have context saved, it's going to prevent you from having to reshare information every time you want to ask the AI something. So let's say you have a business. So for myself, let's say I'm running the No-Code MBA YouTube channel. I don't want to have to re-explain that every single time I am coming on to Claude Cowork. I just want Claude Cowork to know everything about No-Code MBA and the YouTube channel already. So that's where projects come in. But the way that Claude has set it up here is really interesting. So what they're doing is pointing Claude at a folder on our local machine. So this is working on our local machine. It's not something that's in the cloud. So you can create a new project. We can either start from scratch, setting up a new folder with instructions and files. You can import a project, bring a project you made over in chat to Cowork. So Claude has had projects in their chat feature for a while, so you can easily bring those over to Cowork or use an existing folder, give Claude a folder you already work from, a folder on our computer. So we have 3 different ways to do it. So let's start by importing a project. So here we can search projects from chat. So these are all the projects in chat. So I have one already called No-Code MBA Marketer. This is going to save this as a new project on my computer. I can create it. And now I have a project here. We can see the projects here inside of Claude Cowork. And it's pulling in the projects from chat, which is the No-Code MBA Marketer. You can also add instructions and set up scheduled recurring tasks for this project, which is really cool because that's going to allow us to set up tasks for different parts of your life or different businesses that you have, as opposed to having just one area for scheduled tasks for everything. So this helps with both context and also helps with organization across your different businesses or projects that you're working on. Let's do another one here, but this time I want to start from scratch. So the project name, I'm going to say No-Code MBA. Instructions, tell Claude how to work in this project. I'm going to leave that blank for now. And then add files. This is what's really interesting. So we're going to be able to add files information that are related to No-Code MBA, and it's going to save it on our computer. So here I have a markdown file, and it's really good generally to add markdown files as context because the AI works really nice with it. So this is a markdown file of just explaining what No-Code MBA is, who I am, what you can learn, pricing, there's a community, who it's for, strengths, trade-offs, bottom line. So basically, this is just some information about No-Code MBA. We can add more files if we want as well, but for now, I'm just going to stick with that. And now I have this new project here for No-Code MBA. So just to show you what that means, on the right side here, now we have this MD file on our computer. And let's say I want to send off a prompt, which is going to say, what is No-Code MBA? So if I did this on chat, it would do it either from the LLM kind of knowledge, it would search the web potentially. So because we're inside the project of No-Code MBA, it was able to answer this perfectly without having to do a web search. And this is just my specific context that I want about it. So it's really cool. And I think that I'm going to be working in projects mostly moving forward instead of in individual chats. And it's interesting because when OpenCloud was getting really popular in like January or February of this year, I actually created my own folder that I was using in Claude Cowork. So I was adding files and having Claude Cowork work in a folder on my computer, which had a lot of context. So I was kind of doing this on my own. So I really love that now it's just built in and I can go in, I can add more context, I can add more information. We can also pin projects, which is nice. So by pinning the project, it's going to always show up under pinned. So then I can just work inside of these projects instead of having a big list of chats in Cowork. So it's just going to help a lot for organization, I think. So now that you understand projects, I'm going to go through a few more advanced features here in Claude Cowork, just to give you a taste of what else is possible. So one really cool feature that they recently released, and they're releasing so many new features, so I'm going to go through some of my favorite new ones that they've been releasing. is Dispatch. And by the way, you do need to be on the Claude desktop app to access all of these. So here you can assign tasks to Claude from anywhere. You can pair your phone. And this is great, especially if you're going to leave your computer open or if you have a desktop computer that you can leave on, because it's only going to work while your computer is on because it's working on your local machine. But if you had your computer on, then from your phone, you can be on a walk, you can have an idea of something that you wanted to research or do, and then you can send that message from Dispatch. It'll send that to your computer, and then it'll create that, and it'll even create a folder or a file on your local computer in a folder, and then it can send it back to you and what it did. So that's a really cool feature, Claude Dispatch. Brand new, or very, very new within the last couple weeks. And then I also want to talk about scheduled tasks. So scheduled tasks only run while your computer is awake. So you can enable this, which will basically prevent your computer from going to sleep. And then here you can see a few scheduled tasks that I am running. So for example, weekly YouTube ideas, we can see it just ran today. There's instructions of what we want it to do. And I can see it came up with some ideas. Top pick, I built an AI employee that works 24/7, a base 44 super agents build along. I actually already did a base 44 super agents video, but maybe I should do another one. And then 6 other ideas: Manus desktop, my computer demo, cursor versus Claude code build off, 7 vibe coding tools tested. These are actually really good. I could see myself creating 1 or 2 videos from these ideas that it created. And this is just so you can get a sense of, okay, how can I start using Claude Cowork to automate things that are just going to make your business more efficient, come up with new ideas, and come up with these scheduled tasks that are things that are just going to be working in the background. And then you can open Claude and then you're going to have new ideas. And then under projects, what I will probably do is move that scheduled tasks to the No-Code MBA project. So I can actually add it here directly. And I can say, okay, I want the weekly YouTube ideas to be here inside of the No-Code MBA project. And now that scheduled task is going to have access to any files inside of this project. So it already is going to have access to this MD file that we added, but it'll have access to everything. And remember, the more context and files and information we give Claude, the better the results are going to be. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this, and click the link in the description to go to nocode.mba and check out all of our in-depth AI and no-code tutorials. There's one recent course I think you're really going to like, which is how to build an AI SaaS from start to finish. A SaaS is a software as a service, so you'll learn how to build software using tools like Lovable, Claude Code, and Cursor, connect to Supabase for a backend database, and go all the way from your idea to deployment. So definitely check out that course. Click the link in the description if that's something you're interested in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.